huge red flag for me. All right. It's so crazy. I was gonna say men. I mean, strike one. You're a man.
Yeah.
And you're heterosexual.
Now let's take a look at an interesting video by Tommy NFG exploring the bizarre world of female incels. You know, I never thought I'd see the day when such a thing would even be a thing, but here we are, so let's go.
Okay, art as you can, sing B as you can't. I still got more money than you, and you're still a man.
A huge red flag for me. All right. It's so crazy. I was gonna say men. I mean, strike one. You're a man.
Yeah.
And you're heterosexual.
This is the same woman, by the way, signed by Kendrick Lamar's label. A straight man with a family who also associates with individuals from the hood that are probably 10 times worse men than the average man is friends with. So yeah, y'all, today we're here to talk about—
Bro, it's all talk. It's all talk, bro.
The topic of quote-unquote femcels.
They can't stand us, they can't live with us, and they can't live without us. It goes both ways, though, right? Same thing we could say for women. We can't live with them, can't live without them.
And the definition is—
Although I can live with my wife. There's some good women out there.
Well, yeah, female incel. Don't think I gotta define that one. But I personally feel like we gotta distinguish it differently. Usually when a man is defined as a quote-unquote incel, it's because he literally can't pull and takes it out on women because of it. You could look like the former queen as a woman, and there's a hornball dude out there who would lay pipe. For femcels, it's more of their hatred for men that stops them from even trying to pursue a relationship. And they think
which is why, in a way, I feel like femcels are worse than male incels, or I guess we'll just call them incels. Because yes, you do end up with male incels hating women a lot of the times. That's because of the feelings of rejection that they have. They want to be with women, they want to love women, they want to treat women well, but they are not being entertained by women, and so they, instead of working on themselves and figuring out how to actually alleviate that problem or resolve that problem, they end up hating the women. This is the other way around. It's not because these women can't find men that want to love them and treat them right and be intimate with them and romance them. It's just coming from a deep-seated hatred of biological males. And so for that reason, I feel like it's possibly worse. It may not end up being as violent, but it's definitely like more like dark in the heart.
every man is terrible, they shouldn't put themselves out in the playing field. Now let's get two obvious things out in the beginning. Yes, I know not all women are femcels, and yes, there are bad, terrible men out there who should be condemned. But it won't matter to these femcels if I say something like that anyways. They'll probably just take a screenshot of the thumbnail without even watching it, post it on Twitter with a caption saying I'm not watching this, and proceed to say I'm a terrible woman-hating man without even knowing me or my content, even though I've condemned these type of men multiple times.
Bro, you can't even be worried about people like that.
I promise y'all that exact situation will happen. I'm playing chess, alright? I know the game. I want to say this epidemic of femcels really started in 2020 when a trend known as, and I'm not even joking, this was the actual name for the trend, hashtag all men was started.
Wow.
It started on TikTok and Twitter back in 2020, and women would post the hashtag in their captions for anything. Could be just for
they were letting that fly on TikTok? That's crazy.
Could be something actually criticizing a man for. It was thrown around willy and nilly and was used as a word sometimes when they had nothing to say. Like a girl could be proven wrong on something, then when she had nothing else to say, she would reply with hashtag KAM or all men. There would be long comment threads of a bunch of women saying it, and I honestly think this was one of the things that started lighting the gender wars on fire. Pre-2020, gender wars were not even close to as big as post-2020. Because
the fact that we even have a man versus woman thing going on now is crazy. We aren't supposed to be enemies. We're supposed to love each other. That's crazy. It used to be that a woman would be the thing that would bring men together. You know what I'm saying? You got two dudes that are warring, that want to kill each other. A good woman is able to sit those dudes down and be like, listen, let's work this out. Now it's men versus women. It's sad, bro.
After this, you started to see the podcasters come out and make a whole genre out of gender wars. The moment this started happening is when I knew it was getting out of hand. And it made it worse that TikTok wasn't really doing anything about it at first. Like, I understand Twitter or Warzone will never have peace, but you would think TikTok would be on it to ban something like this. Now it's completely banned and you can't use that phrase. But I guarantee if dudes tried to start a hashtag KAW or all women trend on there, it would have been packed in a day, and every account associated with it would be banned and doxxed. Their excuse
for sure, women are a protected group,
for this trend at the time was that they were trying to make the message sound drastic, and they obviously didn't mean all men. And if you were a man that found a problem with it, then you were probably one of the type of men they were talking about. This excuse to me is absolutely stupid as because what average man is gonna want to have a reasonable debate about, I don't know, gender?
That's like the dudes who are using the hard R to talk about black people, and when you call them out for being racist, they're like, well, obviously I'm not talking about all black people. I'm not racist. I'm Sudanese.
Forms or something with you, when in the statement of your movement it literally says to put an end to them. And to me, this movement was hypocritical, because you know damn well if men started a KAW trend and try to be like it's not all women, obviously only the bad manipulative criminal ones, they would get thrown at them, rightfully so. Or imagine we use this for something like race, even a worse example.
Right.
Hashtag all black people rob, man. Let's get the movement trending.
For real.
Bro, what'd you say? Nah, like obviously not all of y'all, only the ones that actually do it. Why are you even getting offended? You're trying to rob me, that must be wrong. This trend was probably one of the most extreme examples that actually became a thing on the internet.
I know that had nothing to do with this video, but I had to get that off.
I don't think we'll see something like it ever again. Like, this was really pushing it. Instead, now they'll just put something like hashtag all men are trash, which I can at least take that. At least in the message name, it's not advocating for the annihilation of men. A lot of this man-hating rhetoric, I guess we could call it, comes from one main source I notice a lot of times: female celebrities. When anybody's favorite celebrity says something outlandish, they're usually more hesitant to condemn it and more likely to agree. And no, I'm not talking about music and lyrics, like Megan Thee Stallion saying something like all these as cheaters or something, because at that point we could pick on every male artist that says something about women. You know, I could care less about lyrics. I'm talking about more of the statements they make. I'm sure y'all know about the whole Biba Doobie crash out thing by now. Everybody talked about this. Might be top 5 stupidest things I've seen any celebrity ever get mad at, but the casual way she just threw out her man-hating to her audience was so funny to me.
Right.
And you're still a man. I know.
Yeah, like what the, where did that come from?
And are mad at me because I probably get more girls than them, and I'm not even gay.
It's mostly men. Like, call me sexist, but I don't think a girl would be like, I was wanking off to that BB video. I was wanking off to that.
This shows to me she knew she wasn't gonna really get any credit.
First of all, slow your roll, okay? I mean, you think you all that in a bag of chips, it sounds like.
Crazy repercussions by saying it, like they wouldn't cancel her shows over it, and stuff like this makes me upset, because if it was the other way and a famous male singer said something like you're still a woman, he's like 100 times more likely to face some type of repercussion. A lot more of the
but that's the thing though, you gotta understand, men and women, we not playing in the same league, bro. It's the NBA versus the WNBA, you know what I'm saying? Like, women are punching up when they take shots at men, because it just is what it is. That's the way society is structured. That's the reality of the situation. And as the power balance between men and women comes to more of an equilibrium with time, with every passing generation, I suppose that women are going to be held more accountable or to a similar standard as men. But it's not going to be the case. Stop waiting on it. Stop expecting it to happen. Men, for now and for the foreseeable future, you know, probably the next few hundred years even, will be held at a higher standard than women. It just is what it is.
It's more accepted in society for a female celebrity to say something on men. And I don't know if some of these female celebrities don't think this through before saying things like that, but they do also have male fans. Like, you don't think a couple of your male fans would see something like that and not want to associate with you anymore? Even if a majority of their fans are women, it's just a dumb thing to do to cut off a good portion of your fans. Like, for me, even though my viewership is about 90% women and 10% men, don't fact check that, I would never insult my male fans because that's mean to them. Okay, but on the real though, I couldn't even imagine myself saying something like all women are trash or I hate all women, because to me that's disrespectful to all the hardworking women.
And it's a loser. Like, why do you just hate an entire group of people, bro, regardless of what that group is? It's just weird and loser.
in my life that have helped me and just out there in general. I don't know. I think I'm just thinking too logically. Okay, let me know if I should start saying it, yo. Billie Eilish was also getting slandered a couple of years ago for this stuff because she would come out saying things about men that were pretty stupid. Like there was this one time she said men don't get body shamed because girls are nice. Nobody ever says a thing about men's bodies. If you're muscular, cool. If you're not, cool. If you're real thin, cool. If you have a dad bod, cool. If you're pudgy, love it. Everybody's happy.
What are we talking about?
Stop the cap. Stop the cap right now. Stop the cap.
Yeah, I would say, well, I guess we could say women get body shamed more by society. Like a woman's weight and her figure means a lot more, matters a lot more in terms of how she's perceived by the general public. So we can't take that away from them. But yeah, dad bods, fat dudes, guys get trolled and ridiculed and mocked all the time for their appearance. One of the biggest thing is hairline. Oh my goodness gracious. You know what I'm saying? Like it's so unfortunate. It's so sad. Completely out of the control of pretty much all the men who suffer from it because it's a genetic thing. But yeah, bro, when dudes, when their hairline starts to go, I mean, that's one of the first things that men get clowned about by men and women alike. So this idea that men aren't getting body shamed is just completely false. That's why you see so many dudes with receding hairlines wear hats. If they'd had nothing to worry about, if people really didn't care, you wouldn't see so many men becoming slaves to hats and do-rags and all that.
Happy with it. You know why? Because girls are nice. They don't give a because we see people for who they are. Coming from a man that was on the pudgier side, I can let y'all know right now this is not remotely close to true.
Whoa.
You know how many anytime they get in an argument with their girl over something, the first thing she's saying is something about his body. He can't get it up right. He's, dare I say it, fat. She was getting sauteed over this take. I think Billie realized though, saying stuff like this isn't good for PR, so she stopped saying it. I haven't seen her saying something like this in a while, which is good because what does saying stuff like
that? You know, I've never actually had that happen to me. I've never been in a fight, a verbal spat with a woman, and she makes a criticism about my body in any way, shape, or form. And I've never done that to a chick either. I've never been with a chick. And I think that's because I've only ever allowed myself to be with women that I genuinely find attractive. You know what I'm saying? Like that kind of says something more about you. If you're with a girl and let's say she's a little heavy, she was heavy when you got with her, and you gonna use that as a dig in a fight. Same thing if you're the woman doing that kind of thing. That's dope. You know what I'm saying? That's loser.
Do other than alienate your male fan base and future fans. The thing a lot of femcels don't realize too is they quite literally breed the men they hate. In modern times, the average way a dude is becoming an incel. Wow, I can't believe I'm teaching incelology. Like an actual incel. I'm not talking about the word where they just throw it on any man. Is he'll see something extreme like the hashtag all men trend. Already if he feels isolated in his life, he gets even more mad over how he's getting hated as a man for no reason. Then tries to find comfort in someone who upsets him. Which is a lot of times the Andrew Tates and Fresh and Fits, and ends up with some radical ideology that's just crazy. It's like they're throwing coal on a fire and asking why the blaze keeps going. Now, of course, the opposite happens too with these incels. But I think with one, you're able to go way more rampant with it before having anything happen. I mean, look at someone like Andrew Tate, for example. There was a certain point he got banned everywhere and got repercussions for his comments. The only social media he had left was Hustlers University. And I see a lot more men condemning people like Andrew Tate than the opposite way. Like, none of my homies in real life were writing him and actually followed the Tate way. They thought the memes were funny at first, but after he fell off, no one really cared. Something that happened recently, which actually kind of sparked me up on even making this video, is something that Doechii said. If you don't know Doechii, she's been having a breakthrough as a female rapper in the past year. She's been having a bunch of viral songs and trends on TikTok. And like I said at the start of this video, she signed to Kendrick Lamar's label. She never really got in controversy until that clip I played at the start. And I was kind of disappointed when I saw the clip, because there's certain people that you don't expect to say dumb stuff like that. Like if it was Cardi B or something, I would say expect it. But off of what I've seen from Doechii and her creativity and her craft, I wouldn't expect her to say something like that. And some people might be like, oh my God, Tommy, you're really offended over that? I could give less of a about the actual comment. If I made a video every time on all the dumb comments like the ones Doechii and Billie Eilish made and were made by female celebrities, this channel would have like over 1,000 videos. To me, it's more of the precedent it sets and trying to make it a casual thing. I think a good example right now is how Elon Musk is getting protested for all his bullshit. And that people are boycotting Tesla and not buying them because people want to make it known that they don't accept it.
Thank you all very much. I love Tesla.
A lot of times too, just like in the Dochi video, they try to specify it as much as possible, like saying straight man, because you know they don't want to be offensive and be called the big H phobic. That would be terrible.
Which is literally 98% of men are straight men.
PR, and you know only straight men do bad things. Acting like there ain't any terrible gay men out there. Look at Diddy. Anyways, wrapping it up, I do think we're getting better as a society of ignoring these type of people and also calling out when someone says something stupid like this. For the Dochi video, for example, I was just checking different TikToks trying to figure out.
Yeah, ultimately, I think it's dumb. I think it's loser mentality to just vilify an entire group of people, regardless of what group that is. So even if that's women, being like, oh, all men are trash or whatever. But at the end of the day, it clearly doesn't yield the same level of violence. It clearly doesn't yield the same level of danger for men. When a dude, he goes down the incel rabbit hole and he goes to the darkest places, that's when that dude goes to, you know what I'm saying, go get the blicky and all that. Pull up to your local middle school and take his anger out there. Whereas we don't really see that with chicks. And from what I've seen, a lot of these women, they're just butthurt about their last boyfriend. And you give them enough time, they'll come back around. And, you know, once they find a good dude, they just forget about everything. Also realize that these people never represent the majority of the group. Most people, I think, are regular, reasonable people. And so don't go around thinking that this is how most women or even a lot of women feel. I think most women still like dudes, you know, still like guys, good guys and all that. But let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching. And until next time, peace out.